Lesson 3, the Articles of Confederation. What are the Articles of Confederation, folks? Well, Articles of Confederation 1781, the document which showed an agreement that recognized the 13 states agreed on a central government, which was the government in place during the American Revolution. The Articles of Confederation allowed for a loose association of independent states. It did have some power, but was very limited. And of course, between the Declaration of Independence and the Articles of Confederation, appointed George Washington as the general of the Continental Army. He did have some accomplishments. Conducted war against Britain. It gave the colonies a degree of unity. You know, they were independent states a little bit, but they gave them a sense of honor and unity. We are one nation. The other accomplishment, or one of the biggest accomplishments, of course, was what they called the Northwest Ordinance of 1787. The law which divided the region of the north of the Ohio River and east of the Mississippi into smaller territories and set up procedures for the admission of each territory into the Union as a new state after its population reached a certain size. We're looking at the Wisconsin, Illinois, Indiana, Michigan, and Ohio area. They did have its weaknesses, though, so we ended up with the HIST Constitution. It had four major weaknesses. The first one, of course, it lacked power to tax or borrow money. The central government did not have the power to tax or borrow money directly. Example, George Washington at one point had to use his money from his estate to cover the payroll for the military during the American Revolution. Kind of like this whole lockout we had earlier. An example, when they said they had to borrow money to pay off the federal government, they didn't have that access. The next one was obstacles to trade. Each state printed its own money, making trade between states difficult. There was no U.S. dollar. In other words, let's say I had Texas dollars and there was Oklahoma dollars. I would have to go to a Casa de Cambio here, an exchange place, or a bank, before I got into Oklahoma. I wanted to trade with somebody, see how much whether the money was the same or equal or lesser value, and then change it so I get that kind of money, and then go shopping. It was very difficult because each state has their own money. There was no national court system. Central government lacked a national government or national court system to settle disputes. There was no U.S. Supreme Court to interpret law, which can be very, very difficult when you have someone saying, "No, this is what the law states, and let's interpret it this way," because everybody will have their own interpretation and whatever conveniences them. This way, with the Supreme Court, you know that, of course, that's the way it's going to be. And of course, no national army. The one thing this country's always had is an army to make you sleep well. At that point, we did have the states were able to rise and own their own militia, but as a nation, let's say if we want to get, we would have gotten invaded again, or attempt to get invaded, we would have to survive out the militia because we could not raise a national army like we have now, where we all sleep well in our beds here in the country, or as well as we can. It's because of our great army. Goodbye and good luck. You should have enough to go ahead and pass the next quiz.
Created using Powtoon.